Across the globe, among the cancers, prostate cancer is rated the second most common cancer and sixth leading cause of cancer deaths among men.
Cancer is any abnormal growth in any organ, okay? Said that it starts in a particular organ and spreads. When the disease is able to leave the site of origin where it started from and affect different parts of the body, it's known as a malignant growth, or what everybody will say cancer. So when you say prostate cancer, we mean a disease of the prostate, which is an abnormal growth within the prostate gland and which can also spread to different parts of the body. Every male child is born with a prostate, but it starts with a very small size, okay? And as we age, especially after puberty, it starts to grow at a rapid rate, and then it can grow to become as big. The biggest prostate I have removed was like 800 grams. But the normal prostate size is about, let's say, 15 to about 25 grams.
According to scientists, the prostate is a small gland situated at the base of the penis, just below the bladder and in front of the rectum. The size of the gland at birth is like a small pear and remains so until puberty, when there's a spurt of growth as it starts producing hormones. It remains so till about middle age, when it begins gradually to increase in size, probably due to hormonal changes that occur with age. And when it turns cancerous, only expert hands can detect it. That's the position of the head of urology at the Konfonochi Teaching Hospital, Dr. Roland Azoledi.
There are three things that we do before we pick a prostate cancer. One, we do what we call the PSA. PSA is a chemical that the prostate releases into the bloodstream. The normal level of every man who has a prostate has a PSA. The normal level it ranges from 0 to 4. When the PSA starts going up, if it starts shooting up, it could be an indication that there's a prostate cancer. So by use of PSA, it gives us an indication that there might be a prostate cancer. That is number one. Number two, by examination of the prostate, there's a way we examine the prostate. This is the back passage, the anus. With a glove finger, if you put our finger into the rectum, we're able to feel the prostate. Now, a prostate cancer feels very hard, just like the forehead. But the normal prostate will feel like the tip of the nose, very firm. So with this, you can see the herbalist will not be able to feel the prostate. So an expert hand will be able to feel the prostate.
Strangely, this type of cancer is common in black men. A research professor of prostate cancer and holistic medicine, Dr. Raphael Nyakote Obu, explains why it is so.
Our skin is our major problem or challenge with prostate disease because of the color, black. The black skin with high melanin prevented the right amount of one key vitamin that fights against prostate disease, and this is vitamin D. But where do we get the vitamin D from? It's the sunlight. So are we getting the right amount of vitamin D? Do we have the abundance of the sunlight?
Impotency, a difficult issue for most men to even imagine, much more to talk about. It is often accompanied by embarrassment, guilt, and lack of self-esteem. The wish of most men is to never in their life experience this. But when the prostate cancer reaches the advanced stage, this greatest fear would happen.
And this evening will be the premiere on TV. Please make sure that you're up to date and you stay with us as you watch that latest documentary. Please, all of us need to watch our balls. What would you have to say? But we have to do the discussions too. And Seth Kwame Boateng is my good friend, a lead investigative journalist here. One time GJ Journalist of the Year, Seth Kwame Boateng. Thanks for joining me.
Thank you.
All right, great. And also alongside him is Dr. Matthew Yamwachi. He is a consultant urologist with the Kolebu Teaching Hospital, but also a senior lecturer with the School of Medicine and Dentistry, the University of Ghana. Thanks for joining me, sir.
Thank you very much.
Great. But something may have inspired you to do this, because once you have the experts, it means the expert fitted into your documentary. What inspired you?
Okay, so I read about it, and I got a number of doctors call to tell me why I've not paid attention to prostate cancer. yes, we speak of the cancers, but often we've highlighted on cervical cancer, breast cancer, but what men also go through, we seem to have relegated that to the background. So I decided to research, and I learned more about the disease, and I said, no, let me do this piece and educate all of us as to how we can go about it, how we can make sure that we don't get to the stage where we have to be castrated.
As it is.
Yeah.
You just say it as it is.
Yeah.
Mind your language. There may be young children watching. They're on holidays, you know. But at the end of the day, there should be some history to this. Is there any medical history to this?
Well, we say that traditionally we had waited for complaints, such as difficulty passing urine, because the prostate is located below the urinary bladder. And so if it becomes enlarged, it becomes filled with a cancer, which is a growth, it blocks the tube. And so there's difficulty passing urine. And most people might even wait until the urine ceases completely, what they call acute retention of urine, before they come. But at that point in time, then it's getting too late. So we have changed the gear and said that, no, let's pick it before these symptoms come. And we are much happier if we can pick it before the symptoms come. If we do that, then the issue of castration does not come in.
Literally, it's not castration, is it?
Well, I think literally it is castration.
Okay, we'll get there. But at the end of the day, it means that we may have been having signs as a population, as a world's population, black males or males in our society. Does it mean that it's only men who suffer this?
Yes, I mean, prostate is a main disease. Just like fibroid, uterine fibroid is women's disease. Now, we men have the prostate. The women have the womb and the cervix. So they get their cervical cancer, they get their, uterine cancers. But we get prostate cancer because we have the prostate. Okay, good. So it is a main disease. It is a main disease.
At the end of the day, we know that if you're a normal man, what should you be looking out for? When should you go for a checkup, or when should you be mindful that prostate cancer could be lurking somewhere around you?
Okay. We said that an important factor, so far as we are concerned, is the age. Because research worldwide, and even in our environment, shows that we black people tend to get the disease more frequently than the white. Okay, good. Now, the reason is multifactorial. Currently, we are looking at genetics. What we mean is that we are trying to see if there's a linkage. So far as we have inherited some defect in our genes that makes us get a disease. We have traced a few genes which we share with other races, which predisposes to a cancer. So you get somebody in the US or in the UK or in Sweden with prostate cancer, they may have a gene defect, which when you also trace it to an African, you may say the same gene defect. But in addition, in Africans, we have had an additional gene defect, which other races don't have. So probably when you get these two gene defects coming together, then you seem to get it more often.
You're talking about blacks.
Blacks.
Because blacks don't only live in Africa, I believe.
That's right. Good. Now, the next factor has to be with the testosterone level. As Seth will tell you, testosterone is an important factor. That's where the castration comes in. Mm-hmm. Okay. And it's been noted that we Africans have a higher level of testosterone level compared with the whites. So we do the heavy weights, we do the long distance runners, we lift the bag of cement and the engine blocks. So we've got the testosterone. So that is one factor which may be in our favor in some ways, but detrimental in another way. And also the testosterone has two components. There's one component that seems to be hidden, and another component that is made available in the blood. We tend to have more of the one available in the blood than the hidden, compared with the other races. So we have got more of testosterone and more of the one which are available to cause, in quote, havoc or to do good, depending on where you stand for. So these are the two major issues that come to play, the genetics and the testosterone level.
And so the one thing I've always loved about journalism is that you become a master of many trades.
Yeah.
So because you have immense knowledge at your disposal. And I saw that when you was talking about the scientific terms, you were nodding your head.
That's right.
You could pass for a medical doctor,
Oh, I'm trying to.
But at the end of the day, is that you solicit information. Did you get from the respondent from the public, or even after doing this and perhaps interacting with ordinary men and ordinary males in our society, that there's so much ignorance?
Oh, yes. Yes, and we seem to have taken this for granted for a very long time. One man I featured in this documentary, he has been told that his balls would have to be removed. And they say no, he would die with it. Now, he can't have an affair with a wife. Even if he has to sleep with a wife, he has to go buy medicine. And that one, he told me in tree, you understand, it has turned cancerous. And he has to go for that injection, I think every 2 months, 1,500 per shot. 1,500. And there is one tablet he has to buy every month. When he did the calculation, it was 400 cedis. Aside the labs he has to undergo and all those things, you understand? Doctors have told him where it has reached, your balls would have to be removed. And he said, you die with it. You understand? So he thought somebody had taken him somewhere. He didn't know that his lifestyle and all other things led him to getting the prostate. So the knowledge we have on the disease is very limited. And we seem not to be ready to accept that it's indeed a problem and that we can fight it the medical way. Wow.
And it's interesting that mentioned lifestyle. That also brings the question about the causative factors. Lifestyle, I eat gari and beans, a lot of this junk food that come around. But am I at risk in any way?
Well, probably, I'll start from where Seth left off. I mean, the knowledge, I must say that awareness is increasing. Of course, it is the disparity between those in the urban centers and then those in the rural settings. We also know that those who are more educated tend to have more awareness than that. Personally, I think that probably the contribution that Seth's program will make is into the rare knowledge about what's happening. Because there's a difference between awareness and knowledge. When people are looking at awareness, then it becomes a business venture. Let's blow it up, let's make a few information here and there and exploit the people. But when the knowledge comes, then people can own the knowledge and then deal with it. So he asked about risk factor. For instance, I listened to your discussions, one of your radios, and then I heard some of your young men, I could tell from their voice, saying that they have not checked. The question I ask myself is, how old are these seasoned journalists? Are you 25 years old? Are you 32 years? Are you a 37-year-old? Then it's not time for you to check. So probably you should be pushing your daddy and your uncles to do the checking rather than you yourself. Because most of our work in Kolebu has shown that if you take people who are less than 50 years, out of about 3,000 people we have screened or we have had to work on, they are barely over 25, which means that below 50 it's unusual to pick that cancer unless there's a family history. So age is an important risk factor. As you get older, you need to check on it. Definitely by 50, you need to check on it, irrespective of your race. But Ghana or Africans, we say that 45. Good. The other factor has to do, as we say, lifestyle. We'll talk about the issue about the testosterone and race, but also smoking. And believe you me, there are people who just smoked in the secondary schools. They just smoked in the university. Now they are not smoking anymore. And yet, if you combine the risk of smoking and being an African and having hit 60-year-old, then it's boom, prostate cancer is appearing. So,
and especially because we're an African.
Yeah, because we have got
we are more predisposed.
We are predisposed. We have all the genes and all the abnormalities there.
And then we're doing the vices.
And then we are doing the vices too.
Adding the pork, the domido, the pizza, and all those things.
That is it. Because fat is important. Not even just eating those ones, but even sedentary life. Now, most of us sit in our cars, do our newspaper, read, and everything else, go to work, and then drive back late. But exercise is very protective. Because we realize that the testosterone, for you to make testosterone, you require fat. We say that fat is the building block for testosterone. So if you have a lot of fat circulating around, then you make more of testosterone, and then if you black wife all the risk, it multiplies.
Wow.
So obesity is a risk factor. Too much fat is a domido.
You are a black man, then you are obese.
You're obese.
It's a big problem.
It's a big problem. Then you are eating the domido and then the fat. Then you are
with a little beer. It's a problem.
Friday night.
That's a problem. Good. So probably exercise is a useful thing. Trying to make sure that any excess of these fats, we can burn them off and they can probably reduce the risk. Maybe not entirely.
And also vitamin D. How many of us are willing to roll down when we are driving? We are always in air conditioning. We are here.
I love air conditioning because I sweat a lot.
Exactly.
But
so,
I
and
walk
you need
in
the
the
vitamin D.
Yeah, I need
more vitamin D.
But you know, one gentleman used to play for the France national team. He also used to play for Barcelona. He's called Eric Abidal. He's a black man, of course, of African origin, but a French person. Yeah. Now, he got his prostate, I think, treated, whether it was removed or not. He got really sick, something like that, or one of the top players.
Yeah. So as you said, castration is the final lap of the case.
Okay.
In fact, the truth is that once we decide to castrate you, it means that we can't do much about the cancer. And most people, when we do castration, they live by the day, they live by the month. In most studies, most of the time, if you have to do the castration or this, what we call metastatic disease, about 50% of them are gone in 3 years' time. If you're lucky, you survive 5 years or 6 years. But the majority are gone by 3 years. So the idea is to catch it early so that we don't need to give you injections and then the castration. Now, if we get it early, then in Ghana here, urology practice is one of the best in Africa. Probably after South Africa, maybe you'll be thinking about Ghana, maybe Egypt. So we can do everything here to cure you. We can remove the whole prostate safely with very minimal complications. Most of our publications from Ghana tells you that our complications are comparable everywhere.
Yeah. But it's only when it's detected early.
Only when it is detected early, what we call a localized disease. Then we can do surgery to remove it safely. And there are hundreds of people we have been able to deal with, and they are doing fine. They also have the option of radiation therapy. Again, we have one of the best practices, like what we call the brachytherapy, well established, well done, with results that have been published, comparable to any part of the world. And we get people from other parts of the world in Africa coming for the procedures here. And then we have got what we call another radiation where you put in a machine. Kolebu as a machine, probably not the best in town, but there's one which is state of the art in the country in Accra here.
And it's expensive.
Expensive,
extremely.
Yeah, that's right. But it's the state of the art. It's expensive, but sometimes it's actually the cost of an airfare to and Europe and back. Plus your hotel bills. So really, I've got a few people who are based in the US, based in the UK, Ghanaians, who have come back because it's cheaper to take a plane fare, come here and get their treatment and go back and still make some savings for the family down here. And they come down here.
You mean they come and get treatment here?
Here.
For?
I'll tell you.
That's serious.
So
the cost element.
Good.
Yeah, because of the cost element.
So urology practice is fantastic here, and you can get everything done. It is for people to know that, acquire the knowledge and see that if you pick it up early, we can treat you, and that is it. Okay. I mean, a lot of people come on your shows, and there are people we have had to manage satisfactorily, and they are happy. So find it early and then cure you. If you find it in the second stage, what we call locally advanced, then it means that the cancer has spread its tentacles a bit from the prostate. Again, we combine the radiation therapy and then a few injections here and there, or tablets here and there, and we can guarantee you 8 years, 10 years of life. So we want to pick it early, either very early or at least in the second stage, what we call locally advanced, and we can deal with it. And I'll tell you that there are a lot of clients that we have had to help. Okay. Our challenge has been when it gets to the third stage, which is the metastatic stage. Then what we are doing is what we call palliative. Palliative means that we are just trying to make you more comfortable, reduce the pain, and make sure that you don't get complications like blood in the urine, like the urine seizing. But we can't tell how long you're going to survive.
Yes, you're
kakra to get you.
We are just helping you to the grave.
That is right. Okay. We can't lengthen it, but that is it.
Palliative.
That is it.
Wow. And talking about information sharing and collection, Maxwell Agbagba is live from Medina Estate. He is asking some men if they have checked their prostate to see how safe they are.
I'm sure you've already seen said Kwame Boateng's latest documentary, Balls in Danger. Well, if you've not seen it, you need to check it out, especially if you're a man. It is very educative. It talks about prostate cancer. So this morning, we are here at Medina Estates, and we are finding out from people what they know about, even heard of it, whether they've even tested for it. Let's get closer to this gentleman, all men, here. Let's find out from them what they know about prostate cancer. Chief, what's your name?
My name is Prince.
Okay, what's my camera for me? Prince, talk to me. Do you know anything about prostate cancer?
A little bit.
Tell me, what do you know about prostate cancer?
Oh, I know that when you get infected by that, sometimes when you urinate it's like a little blood inside, and sometimes the unit can open like into two. You said like you get twins, but it's not like that.
Wait, you said what? If the urine splits,
like you said,
people say that, well, you get twins.
Yes, you give birth to twins, but it's not like that.
That is the what should I call it? Is it myth or misconception that people have that when your urine splits, it means you give birth to twins?
Yes, that's what people say, but it's not like that. What I know is that when it happens like that, that means you are infected by that disease.
Okay. I mean, how long have you known this?
Oh, not too long. I heard people saying it, and sometimes adverts on TV, on radio that around that cancer. So that's what I know.
Okay. Are you aware that it's genetic also? It can be genetic. So if you have it, in your family, if your immediate family members have it, the possibility of you getting it is also high.
That's one day I don't know. Yeah, because I have not had some before, and I don't know if it's genetic or it's not.
But you've not tested for it, have you?
He said,
I mean, you are young. So you are not, really at risk. But have you, by any chance, gone to any hospital to check for it?
No, I haven't.
Why?
I know that I don't have, so I don't need to go there. Yeah.
Okay. Daniel, thank you very much. Daniel, I mean, the part of the documentary that got me going like, what? Was when the doctor said the darker your skin, the higher your risk of, getting prostate cancer. Let me find out from this gentleman. Sir, what's your name?
It's Bernard.
Bernard?
Yeah.
Bernard, tell me, do you know about prostate cancer?
Prostate cancer? No.
You don't know about it?
Yeah.
Have you heard of it before?
Yeah, I heard of it before, but I don't know anything about it. Yeah.
Do you know that? Since you don't know anything about it, then we cannot even talk about the symptoms. Can you talk about any symptoms, like anything that you've heard from somebody saying in the corner somewhere?
No. No, I did not hear anything about them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so now we are telling you about prostate cancer. Would you go and look out for more information on it?
I don't have any information about it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So would you go and look for information on it, or you just don't care? You think you are too strong,
Oh, it's not because of that. I did not hear anything.
Oh, interesting points there. It just shows extreme ignorance on our part. But then how will people get themselves to be screened if they are ignorant? Did you find...
Is the reason we are doing this. Because some of them, when you speak to them, they are like, oh, me, I'm strong. God is with me. Yes, God knows he's with you. Yet he gave knowledge to doctors and other people to help you. You understand? So the earlier you read about it, the better. So you know the steps to take. And I was mentioning that from last week when we started airing this, I've had a number of people go do the PSA, the screening, and they take shots and send me, meaning people are really getting to know what they have to do now to avoid that unfortunate thing from happening to them.
How do we, also tend to publicize the screening alongside the blood donations and the regular screening that we tend to have to heighten the activity?
Yes. So, screening, as Seth rightly said, there are two components to a screening. We have got a blood test, which you call the prostate-specific antigen, or PSA. It's a blood that is drawn, and it's calibrated, so it gives a figure. If your calibration is up to 4, that is normal. If it's beyond 4, 6, 10, 1,000, 5,000, 22,000, then it tells you that probably there's something more at stake. So that is one. Of course, there are other reasons, but we are interested in that. The second one is what we call the rectal examination. We put our hand in the anus and feel for the prostate. I heard in the documentary that Ohin telling us that it takes experts to be able to do that. So we put a hand in the anus and feel it, and the way it feels, we can feel that. I have felt over 6,000 prostate, so I can put a finger in.
How does it look like?
So the cancer tends to be very hard. You see, when the cancer gets there, the body is trying to fight it in a way, so it becomes very hard, like a scar. So when you put your finger in there, you can feel that this is not as soft.
I'm told it's like the forehead.
Hard, very hard, So then we can tell it. But I must say that I've seen a lot of people who come to me and say, I've done screening. how do you do screen? They said, some people came to my church or some people tell me, and I went to do ultrasound. Please, please, for heaven's sake, ultrasound is not a screening for prostate cancer. Because the ultrasound, what they call the scan, cannot tell what is just an enlargement and what is a cancer. If somebody tells you that I've done an ultrasound and it is not a cancer, he's lying. The next time you come to us, we are going to remove your balls. Because the ultrasound, by all research, both in Ghana and outside, is not able to differentiate. It sees everything as normal. It's like a black and white film. It can't see a scar, it can't see a black spot. It's black and white. In fact, it is gray and black. It's not black and white. It's gray and black. So they are all within the same ring. So please, screening is PSA and the rectal examination. At least on the PSA can be enough. And know the figure. Somebody came to me. Somebody did the PSA, and the PSA was 500. In a research we did in Kolebu, if your PSA is more than 100, the chances that you have prostate cancer is like Joy FM, 99.7%. Somebody got a PSA of 500, and the person said, I'm shrinking your prostate for you. Take this medicine. The next time he came, we have to remove the balls. So please, screening is the blood test, and ask for the figure yourself so that you have informed. And the digital rectal examination, which requires a specialist. But at least the blood test is enough to make a decision. And please, 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 ultrasound is not. All the international guidelines will say that ultrasound alone is not adequate. But as you said, the age is important. 45 and 50, we can start checking.
45. From 45, we have to be aggressively checking as men. And we black men, we are more prone to this. Well, we'll see how we can continue the education. But please remember, the premiere is this evening. And the title, once again, is?
Balls in Danger, 6:30.
Yeah.
It will also be live on YouTube, Facebook, and other social media platforms.
Beats my mind. I keep asking, why is it that Seth always give these type of Hollywood, making us frightened? Are your balls in danger?
Not at all.
You haven't gotten there yet. All right, I'll go have mine checked. I checked in the last 2 years. This I was free. I never know. I'll go and check again. All right, so that'll be it. And I've had in the studio my great guest for the morning, Dr. Matthew Che Yamwa. And he is a senior urologist with the Kolebu Teaching Hospital and also a senior lecturer with the School of Medicine and Dentistry, the University of Ghana. Thanks for joining me, consultant urologist.
Thank you very much.
All right.